everyone. Welcome to No Like Trust for Real Estate. I'm super excited to have y'all here with us today. I'm Christine George, your host. I'm also the co-founder of Post and Beam Creative. And we're doing things a little bit differently today. This is a very different episode because October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And for those of you who don't know, I am a breast cancer survivor. And so we're going to talk a bit about breast cancer today and how to take care of those boobies. I'm joined today with our friend Betti Russo and her stepdaughter, Jenna, who is also a breast cancer survivor. So welcome, you guys.
Thank you.
Oh, it's great to be back.
Yes. Kick it off for us.
To be back. And you know what? I'm really excited. While this is not an exciting topic, I'm excited for Jenna to be here. She has got to be one of the strongest, most resilient, bravest women that I know. And I'm so proud of her. And I know she'll be inspirational to everyone listening.
Thank you.
Yeah. I can't wait to hear your story. I can't wait to share stories and experiences. And I really want to learn about, your experience, Jenna. And I also want to make sure that we get into the episode today, just how people should be, what they should be looking for, how they should be taking care of their bodies. And I'm going to say it now and then 5 times. Is that the dog?
That's Sophie.
Oh, I love it. Early detection saves lives, and you're looking at two women whose lives were saved as a result of it. So I'm just going to hand it over to you, Betti, to kick it off.
All right. So Jenna is closing the door on Sophie, I believe. We all have dogs, Jen, you know that. So
okay.
So Jenna.
Yes.
Talk a little bit, please, about your journey and when you were first diagnosed with breast cancer.
Yes. So I had a baby in June 2021, Nicholas. It was COVID, so it made everything a little bit more stressful. Very hard to get into doctors, very hard to get in touch with doctors. So I felt like a tiny little lump on my left side. I was calling and calling, no answer. This was weeks and weeks now. I finally got through and they said, it's just probably a milk duct, just wait a few more weeks. But at this point I kept touching it because, it was there. And if you know something's there, you sort of just play with it a little, I guess. So
like a bruise.
You were focusing on it. Yeah.
Right. It got to the point where it started to actually hurt. So my aunt luckily owns an urgent care, and I called her and I said, listen, can I come see your doctor? And I'm so grateful. She was amazing. She sent me for a mammography that next day. And then they said they needed to do the biopsy. They weren't sure what it was. So I still had no idea. And I think that was one of the hardest parts too, like the whole waiting.
Yes.
It's like just that anxious, like you don't know what to do with yourself, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest, I really didn't think. No one in my family had breast cancer. I really didn't think at all. And I really wasn't nervous about it. So, okay, get my biopsy, which was not painful at all. I don't want people to be nervous when they say you need a biopsy, you need a mammography. It's really not painful, not scary. It's a very easy procedure, honestly. And then I guess it takes like 3 days for your results. So it was a Saturday. And of course, my phone started like ringing that I had a My Chart message result. So I opened it and there it was. Now I'm a nurse, so I sort of understood what it was saying. But here I am on a Saturday afternoon and I open and it says, cancerous, blah, blah, blah. And now I just froze. And that was really how I found out.
So how old was Nicholas at this point?
6 months.
Oh my goodness. So you were completely in the middle of postpartum.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
In your 30s, yes?
Mm-hmm. I was 33.
No history of breast cancer in your family?
None. Nobody.
Wow.
And let me tell you, Jenna comes from a tremendous family. No history at all.
You know, that was the same for me, although I was much older. But no history, and that you had to read it online and not hear it too. Like that's ultra scary.
Yeah, it was. I didn't even say anything. The baby and Nick were in the den playing and I was just on the couch and I froze and he looked at me and he's like, "You got your results?" And I just started bawling.
Sure.
Because I was like, "Oh, what does this mean?" Yes, I'm a nurse, but I didn't know anything about this area of this disease. I had no idea what to expect. So yeah, it was.
What were the next steps?
So the same aunt that owns the urgent care, I called her. I said, "I didn't tell anybody yet. I didn't call my mom." I said, "Please get the doctor on the phone." I was like, "It says I have cancer." And she was like, "What?" She's like, just hold on. Don't hang up. Don't hang up. And then the doctor got on the phone and she was just so upset that that's how I got my results, obviously.
I mean, is that normal? Like, that's so bizarre that you got that text message. I would imagine that your doctor would intervene and call you first. But I guess because the time that it was with COVID and everything was so crazy.
Well, I think they've changed their, this is like a little sidebar, but I think they've changed their requirements. I believe many healthcare systems are required to post your results in your file regardless, like immediately, regardless if the doctor's called you. And I think that's frustrating for many doctors because they don't even have a chance to pick up the phone and the results are already in the system.
And it says, don't open your results if it gives you a little warning about if you're not going to understand them, if there's anything you're concerned about, don't open them, wait for your doctor. But of course, seeing that, you're going to open the results. Yeah. At least I am.
Yeah.
So, Jenna, what was your specific diagnosis? Because there are so many types of breast cancer.
Right. So I had triple negative.
Okay.
And it was stage 2B. So it was in my lymph node, like just a speck, tiny, tiny bit. And that's another thing, I said, what's triple negative breast cancer? Googling it. And it's so scary online. It's like, you don't Google anything, I guess, when you're in the midst of it, because you really can put yourself in a panic.
That's the curse of being able to find out anything these days. At the touch of your, fingers. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so triple negative is very different from what my diagnosis. My diagnosis was HER2 negative HR positive, or ER, not HR, ER positive. So with that, where we're different is my cancer was fueled by estrogen. Right. So I take an estrogen blocker for 5 years. I'm halfway through it to, so that, to keep the cancer from growing. Whereas if you are ER negative, so you can taking, estrogen blockers, it isn't going to help you because your cancer is not fed by estrogen. Right. One thing I want to say why these two things, one of the beautiful things about knowing this is that there has been so much research. The Susan G. Komen Foundation really brought a ton of awareness around breast cancer and really kind of started the ball rolling in terms of research. There's so much research that's been done on breast cancer that knowing these different types of breast cancer really helps to narrow in on the treatment, which is amazing.
So coming from somebody who has no experience with this personally, can you give us a little more information about the type of cancer that you had, Jenna? Like, what does all that mean?
So there was nothing, they didn't know what was driving it. So people who have the estrogen positive will take like an estrogen blocker. But the reason why they say that the triple negative is more quote unquote scary is because they don't know why it's forming. So they sent me for a lot of genetic testing. And I do have one mutation. So they said that that may be where it came from. But with the triple negative, I guess you don't know.
So tell us about the treatment.
So I had an option to do, the lumpectomy or just do the mastectomy. And I said, you know what? At this rate, I said, just take it out. I'm just like, I was freaking out. So I said, just do the double mastectomy. So that's what we did.
Wow.
Jenna, is the cancer on one breast or both?
Yeah, one, just the left
And you
side.
did both?
I did both. Yeah. I didn't want to, in the back of my mind, worry, is it coming back? Or I think mentally for me, knowing that like that tissue was out is more comforting.
Mm-hmm. Completely.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we did the mastectomy. We did chemo. We did 5 weeks of radiation and then the exchange surgery.
What's exchange surgery?
Where after you do the mastectomy, they put like expanders in because they don't want you to get scar tissue. And every week they fill it with saline just so you don't lose that space.
I see.
So then they take that out and just put the implant in.
Wow.
It was a lot.
It was a never-ending journey. Like it was, and we kept saying, okay, are we there yet? Like, are you done, Jenna? Like, when is it going to be over?
Yeah.
So how long has it been since at this point?
It's been almost 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Almost.
Wow. That is just, and look at you. You're beautiful. You look healthy. You're smiling. I mean, and your baby is now what, 3 years old?
He's 2.5.
Wow. He's doing great.
Oh, terrible twos.
Yeah. So tell us, describe some of the challenges that you went through at each, like you had multiple stages of treatment. What were some of the challenges? Especially here you had this baby too.
Luckily, I had so much. I mean, I'm so grateful. I had so much help from family, everybody, babysitters, this and that. So I was covered with the baby, but it was more, I didn't know what to expect. And then after the mastectomy, I mean, when I tell you that was horrible for me, just because my pain tolerance is very bad. It was, you have the drains and it was, that part was the pain plus not really being able to, move. And you do have a baby at home does make a difference. But also still having to go to the oncologist and then them talking to you about the chemo and, oh, well, this is, you might get nauseous. Your hair is going to fall, this, and then just building up.
Yeah.
And I remember one day just coming home from the doctor and like, I was screaming. I was like to my mom, why are you going to let them poison me? Like, I was like going nuts. She was like, you have to do this, and because you just come to a breaking point, you have so much piled on and it seems like such a long road. But then honestly, once you're in it, you just have to find ways to distract yourself. And obviously you get through it. You get through it. I think my thing was puzzles. So we constantly had a puzzle on my table. We did about 25 huge puzzles. They're all hanging in my basement.
I love that.
Through the middle of it, I was like, you know what? I think everybody going through this needs something to distract themselves. So I opened a GoFundMe and I was like, let's just see if we could donate puzzles to other people going through this. We ended up raising like $20,000. I donated over 10,000 puzzles, a lot of them to Children's Hospital, a lot of them to the hospitals in the city, all for cancer patients.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Keeping yourself busy, it really helped.
I just got the chills.
I did too.
Got the chills because that's just so amazing.
That is awesome, Jenna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, every time I would go see Jenna, I would walk in and there would be a new puzzle on the table. And like she had puzzles all around her. And it was just amazing. She was constantly doing the puzzle. I would sit down with her for 5 minutes and do some puzzling with her. And then I was like, I'm done. And she's like, I'm still puzzling.
Well, you have, what a great way to keep your mind
for her. I'm so glad that you found that, Jenna.
Yes.
To help you get through it.
Yeah. It was helpful.
I remember, for me, I didn't have chemo. I had radiation, and I remember, it was during COVID. It was 2020, and so we had to mask up and everything. And my son was in second grade at the time, and so he was, or at that point he was in third grade. But so they were like half and half, home, half in school, and I just remember, like, almost like becoming like my head, like my mind became like robotic. Like you said, like you just have to get through it. Like you have to get in your car and go to radiation every day. And as like as time goes on, when you're in radiation, it's like getting like a really bad sunburn.
Yeah.
And after a while, like your mind plays tricks on you because I just remember being like, oh, here comes the cancer patient walking in the hospital again. And it just feels, it's just sort of demoralizing. I don't know. Like you just feel, I don't know. It's just, it was tough. It was tough. Mm-hmm. But like you say, you just have to put almost blinders on and just say, you just got to get through it. You just got to get through it.
I think luckily I had I had the most amazing support system. I didn't worry about any of the medical part of anything. My mom, the first oncology appointment, my mom walked in there with a full-blown binder. I was embarrassed.
Yeah, but let's preface that. Jenna's mom also, comes from the medical field.
Yeah.
So, this was just something that she does. This is, part of who she is. Like she's going to research it. And plus Jenna has, when I tell you the support system of a family of very strong women, she definitely was surrounded on all ends.
That's awesome. We'll talk a little bit about that. Tell us, who were the people that stand out, who played a significant role in supporting you?
I mean, really everybody. I mean, like my mom did everything. I mean, I didn't make one decision. I said, please handle this. I would call her at like 4 a.m. I think I'm getting a fever, but it's okay. Okay. Every step of the way. Obviously, Bet and Dad and the girls, my sister. I mean, everybody. Nick had full-time help for me. He was so supportive. My Aunt Barbara was here every weekend with her puzzles. And she's, my last day of chemo, she had the balloons outside the house.
Oh.
All of my aunts, everybody, I can't even sing, like it's everyone.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was just really, really great. And you need that because there's a lot that goes, each step has so much information and so much on top of it that I wouldn't have been able to understand everything really myself.
Yeah, you need another set of ears in the room all the time.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to people who need to support a friend or a family member who has breast cancer?
So I would say, I think I used to get annoyed a lot because everybody used to always tell me what I had to do. Drink this, eat this, don't eat that. And I think people just need to be there, not talking about the disease with, the patient and not mentioning it. Just go and pretend nothing is wrong almost, unless obviously they say, I want to talk about it, but it was always do this, do that. How are you feeling? Oh, your hair's coming back. Oh, and I didn't want to hear it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. So just be with you.
Yeah. Don't make every visit about being sick, I guess.
Yep.
Because it becomes a lot.
It's tiring, I'm sure. You get to where you just don't want to talk about it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. And then people need to, do what they feel they can do. You don't have to drink the 9 glasses of water if you can't. Just do what you could do. Don't push yourself, because your body's already so tired that you have to just take it step by step and just get through it. Don't put all of these demands on the day. And I think that really helped.
Yeah. I think everybody means well, but obviously nobody is going through what you're going through at the moment. Right. So it's hard to not want to help you and take care of you, but
no. Yeah. And everyone did.
I totally hear what you're saying.
Yeah. So I think that's really the advice I would give, is just, you have to take it step by step, and you really just can't think ahead. I know people have to, but don't think of the what ifs and I'm going to get sick and I'm going to feel nauseous, because you might not.
You may not.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think you don't know what you need all the time.
Right.
You don't know. I just want to take a minute and there are some statistics that I think are really important for people to know. One is that most breast cancer is the most common cancer for women, and it accounts for 30% of all new female cancers. So it's pretty common. The incidence of breast cancer is increasing every year. So, more women are getting it. But what I love, here's a great statistic, that the death rate has actually gone down by 43% since 1989 because of all the research. Right. And because of the early detection as a result of the research. Here's something that's really important. When you say you didn't have family history, I didn't either. Also, I was not in a high risk category on any level. 80 to 85% of breast cancers are actually they're not hereditary. They're not genetic. They have no family history. So it can happen to any one of us. It can happen to any one of us. You don't have to have a family history. You don't have to have a genetic mutation. It's 80% of them don't. So those are really important things. Let's talk a little bit about early detection.
Yes.
Because for you weren't even at the age where you had even had a mammogram before.
No, never. Nothing.
Yeah, because you were super young, under 40. For me, it was found in my mammogram. And I'm very diligent. I get one every single year at the same time. And so after 10 years of baseline mammograms, they were able to detect it. And so my tumor was very small. And so luckily they caught it super early. And that is so important, because when you can catch it early, then you can actually have something done about it and have a better survival rate as a result.
Right. Yes.
So what is your take on that, Jenna? What advice would you share with women regarding early detection? I mean, in your case, it's different because, like Christine said, you never had the mammogram done before.
No, never.
So, for somebody that's young and hasn't had one before, what do you suggest?
I would really say that if you feel something is not right, if you're in the shower, if you feel a little, even if it's a teeny tiny bump, just go to the doctor, because going to the doctor that one time can be life-saving. I mean, yes. You got to really advocate for yourself. And when my doctor kept saying, it's just a milk duct, don't worry, I was like, something's just this, I didn't breastfeed. I mean, I had no other issue. I just had one bump. So I said, something's just not sitting right. And thank God I went.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause you were already at stage 2 at that point too. So it had grown. With me, I didn't have a lump. I didn't feel anything. Right. So, I think that is the best advice, not just for breast cancer, but for anything, advocate for yourself. No matter what, your body better than anybody else.
Yeah.
And so that is so important. That's great advice.
Yeah. And get a second opinion if you have to. If the doctor says, oh, it's nothing, don't worry, just go for the second opinion, or just keep going, keep pushing. Mm. But yeah, luckily I was able to feel the bump, or I honestly would have no idea. I wouldn't have known at all.
Yeah, I was going to say that too before. Thank God you felt it, because in a time, especially during COVID, when people weren't going out, they weren't going to doctors. I mean, how else on earth would you have caught it if not by yourself feeling it and knowing something was wrong?
Yeah, I wouldn't have known until obviously it would probably be very late.
Yeah. No, it's important. Let's talk a little bit about life after breast cancer. So you're two years out. Nicholas is 2.5 years old. He's the terrible twos, right?
Yeah.
How has your perspective changed since?
So this is an interesting one for me, because I still don't feel 100% my normal yet. I'm still really tired. I don't have my energy back. My bloods are still are pretty low. The chemo also put me into menopause. So everything is all out of whack still for me.
Wow.
So my body is still, I think, trying to recover. So I feel like I'm sure when this is all said and done, I'm going to appreciate life so much more, which I do already. But I still don't feel that 100% where people say they have a new look on life. And
yeah,
I'm not there yet, because I still don't feel great, honestly. And I know that's okay. I've went to the doctor. Everything is fine. Just everyone is different. It's going to take a little longer. But I definitely appreciate things so much more now.
I love that transparency, Jenna. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm getting misty, because hell, it's okay to say you're not right yet. You're not there yet. And by the way, you're the mom of a 2.5-year-old. It's a blur. It's a blur for somebody who's not been through cancer. I mean,
I know.
Wow.
Yeah, but I definitely appreciate things more, I would have to say. And especially the people in my life. I really appreciate everybody more.
Yeah.
So,
but you're still going through it. It sounds like, you're not on the other side yet. So that actually begs the question. So how, you're not in the middle of your treatments anymore. So, but you're still not 100% yourself yet. So how do you cope with that emotionally now? Are you still doing puzzles? What is your sort of outlet?
No. So now I just started working a little bit again, per diem. So here and there, which helps. And then with the baby, I'm obviously I just keep myself very, very busy. But I also know it's important to rest. I do try to still rest and just try to take care of myself, drinking more water, eating better, everything I can do.
Yeah.
But it's different from, I wish somebody would have told me when I was done with the radiation and the chemo and the surgeries that you're still not going to feel normal. But I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
And I think like your treatment was so intense that I can't imagine that you would feel great when it was over. I would think by now,
right.
But you went through unbelievable what you went through. So in a way, I'm not surprised. Plus, just as a side note, menopause, you don't always feel good. There's that too. You have so many things going on right here, Jenna, that I'm not surprised that you're not 100% yet. But
well said.
Yeah. And the baby, like, oh my gosh. And I know he has you running for sure. He has you on your toes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for women, knowing what you know and knowing where you are? What advice do you have for women who are, just facing a new diagnosis?
I would say that if you can, and if you have the ability to pick someone or like designate someone to be at your appointments with you, to be that person for you, to go to the chemo with you. Obviously that's hard and not everybody can do that. But if you do have the ability, and don't make it like when you go to your chemo, do something that you're looking forward to. Almost, my mom and I used to put the game show on, and we used to, watch games and like eat candy. I know we shouldn't have eaten candy, but had a little snack.
Jenna always liked her candy. I'm gonna put that out there right now.
But it's a lot. Try to have that one person in your corner that honestly goes through it with you, because it really, really helps. And this, for people who don't really, are just new to it, yes, you don't feel good and you're getting all these medications and everything, but you also don't realize the appearance aspect. Like, I lost all of my hair. We tried to cold cap. I don't know if everyone knows what that is. It's basically something new. You put, it's almost like a helmet looks like, and it's basically freezing, like running through, and it prevents your hair from falling out. I mean, my mom used to sit there and like hold this thing down on my head because it was just the most horrific for me. Now I know people that are doing it and it doesn't bother them at all. It's great. They have their hair. After I think 3 or 4 times, I said, we can't do this anymore. And I just let my hair flop.
You were like, my head is frozen.
It was the worst.
Seriously.
You're going through so much. And if that is causing more stress and anxiety, like it was for me, it wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are fine with it. I just have a really bad pain tolerance. I couldn't take the headache. But, no one really realizes that your appearance, even for a long time after, like this is the first time I think I could put my hair in like a ponytail and walk out of the house. It sticks with you for a while. So just try to do that cold cap and try to do those little things that they offer if you can, because it really does help. It makes you feel not that you're not normal, but it makes you not go to the store and think everyone's looking at you because you have no hair and because you're sick. Do you know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah. You want to feel like yourself.
Right.
Take care of yourself. Do little things that bring you just the little bits of joy.
Yeah.
Bring people to your appointments with you. That's all great advice. Mm-hmm. That's all great advice. And your hair is gorgeous, by the way.
Thanks. We're getting there.
You are.
So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. That was a lot.
That was great. That was fabulous.
Oh, thank you, guys.
Thank you, Jenna, for sharing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And yeah, oh, absolutely. And for you to say that you have a low tolerance for pain, girl, like, look what you have been through. You have a very high tolerance for pain.
Right.
And like Betti said in the beginning, you're extremely resilient and strong.
Thank you.
Hell,
thank you.
You are a warrior and a thriver. And
well, you too.
Thriver.
Well, yeah. Yeah. You can get through anything though. Like, you know, you can.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So,
and I wish you the best.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was, I mean, it was a long road. It was a long journey, but here we are.
You made it.
And we got through it and we're done.
And now you're going to see that baby grow up.
Right. Exactly. And you know what? One thing somebody said to me, which when I had the baby, they said, right when I got my diagnosis, someone said, you only have one shot at this. So do it right. Because I was just, what should I do? Where should I go for treatment? And I think that stuck with me. Just, you have one shot. So just take control and just go, just do it.
Yes.
That was great advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take control. It's your body and your life.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Awesome.
All right.
Betti, so awesome having you back.
Thank you. You know, I love being here.
Yeah. Well, the message is, you feel something, say something. And if you're over 40, get that mammogram. Do not delay. Early detection saves lives on both. Two of us, very different breast cancers, very different situations. In both cases, early detection saved our lives. So, well, I think that is it. That's a wrap. Thank you both for being here today. If you are watching, let us know you were here. Let us know where you are watching from. If you're listening to the podcast, definitely subscribe, leave us a 5-star review, and share it with your friends if you like what you're hearing. And make sure you have your mammogram.
Absolutely.
Take care, everyone.